What do you think about, let's say, public education in the United States or abroad? And do you think that children should be taught any sort of political ideology in schools? Because I'm sure you know, depending on which school you go to and where you live across the country, you get taught very, very different things in public schools and reinforcements of different values. Here in the United States, we would reinforce freedom of religion, freedom of press. We're a very free society, and you get this ingrained in your head since you're a little kid. In another country,
bullshit.
You're derailing the hell out of my example here.
Sorry.
In a different country, in a different situation, I was going to say North Korea, that's too extreme. We'll pick something like China or Saudi Arabia. Instead of freedom, it's all about conformity, about finding your identity by conforming to their thing and playing along and being part of a team instead of being free to do what your own. Do you think any sort of philosophy, any particular philosophy, or any at all, should be taught in school or reinforced at a young age, because that kind of builds a person?
I believe that all... it's kind of hard because there are so many countries in the world, and there are like similar ways of governing, but go to Sweden, it's totally different from France. Go to France, it's totally different from Italy. Go to Italy, it's totally different from Germany. Go to California, it's totally different from Texas.
Yes.
So I think
Texas.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
wow,
I live in Texas.
Hot. It is hot in Texas.
It's
I
not
hate
that
it.
bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. Actually, you know what? When I went to Dallas, I went there, and I'm from California, like I've already said, and we are raised in California to believe that everyone in Texas is dumb and stupid. That's what the popular mentality in California is, and that's why we get like a snooty like reputation, because fucking we deserve it. We act like pompous assholes sometimes. But when I went to Dallas, the people there were so nice. And I saw diversity there too. I saw blacks and whites and Mexicans and Asians, and they were all very nice to me. And so like my opinion got turned on its head. But now we're getting sidetracked. I believe that you should teach kids that different modes of governing exist. I do not believe that we should be teaching kids that one way is better than the other. Even if we are in a representative democracy ourselves, which is what this is, it's a representative democracy. It's not a pure democracy.
Oh, no. Pure democracy is a bad thing, scary thing.
Pure democracy, according to libertarians, is libertarianism. Pure democracy, according to anarchists, is anarchism. And pure democracy, according to people that believe in representative democracy, everyone's definition is different, and it's not my... I am so on the fence about all of it that I honestly don't know what the best... So I'm saying teach kids what exists, but I believe that it's wrong to tell a child that this is the best way or this is the only way. And like I believe in national pride and cultural pride to a certain extent, but I also believe in planting that idea in a kid's mind that you can change the world. You can introduce a new idea that no one's ever thought of. And that, unfortunately, is not very popular or prevalent in the United States educational system. In fact, we are. I'm talking too much, jumping at any point. But
I had like 4 different points I was going to cut you off at, but you were on a roll. I was going to say our concept of cultural relativism, that our culture isn't necessarily better than another's. Other cultures don't have cultural relativism, and I'm going to pick on Asian countries, for example, because my wife's Chinese, and I get a lot of this. In China and Japan and Korea, it's like Korea is best at everything. That anybody is better than Korea at something, totally not true. It's even worse in Japan. It's very prevalent in China that, their culture is just top, and that this other stuff that you can just poo-poo all over that's not real. And there was another point that I was going to roll off, in that absolute democracy, where everybody gets to vote on every decision, it's, ooh, my voice cracked, is utter chaos, and that scares the absolute devil out of me.
Well, the only way that would work is if we had an informed electorate, and we do not. And I'm a part of that. I am willfully ignorant at this point. I bowed out of politics and political frustration like 5 years ago, but still...
Even an informed electorate can still be swayed by emotion and mob rule. Obviously an ignorant electorate is bad.
And propaganda.
So let's say right after 9/11 attack, we found out Iraq did it. You were around for that. I don't know what the prevailing sort of opinion was where you were. I was caught up in this too. I was a teen.
Shit.
Yeah, it was like, we should turn it into glass. We're going to make that whole country flat. Everybody should die.
It was bullshit. And both Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden publicly scoffed at the idea that they were working with each other because they hated each other. And yet American media, it was so atrocious. And by the end...
I guess Iraq was a bad example. Afghanistan then. But the point is...
But even I have, I'm conflicted on the war in Afghanistan as well, because there are a lot of families that never did shit to me, that got their house blown up, and their fucking dad or the whole fucking family got killed because of our taxpayers' money paying for that. I have such a problem with. I hate the idea of collateral damage. I hate it so much. And
okay, but if we had pure democracy and everybody got to vote that day, the vote would have been to nuke every square inch of that whole country and just turn it flat.
Yep.
And that's a scary thing to me, because that's how it works. That's the same way you talk about defending your house. The first thing that pops in your head is, somebody's in my house, I'm going to blast this guy. What if it's a mentally handicapped person? What if it's just some guy that's trying to sneak in and he doesn't even know you're there?
Yeah.
It gets messed up.
It's better to be calm and collected. And I would point to our leadership at the time. As being very responsible for that violent fervor that we went into. This like bloodlust need for retribution. And no one in the media was saying, let's all calm down for a second and really look at this.
Oh, they were. I saw 2 or 3 people that do it. Most of them lost them jobs, booed out of stadiums, publicly shamed. It was awful. Even when they tried to do it in the most calm, reasonable manner possible, nobody was having it.
But what did G.W. Bush do, like, the day of the attacks or the next day? He went on ground zero, got on a bullhorn, and said, don't worry, we're going to fucking kick the shit out of whoever did this.
That's what you have to do. If you're the president.
Okay, on one level, I respect that. That took balls to go down there and be the guy on the bullhorn saying that. On another level, our leaders should be calm and focused, not stirring up a fucking public shitstorm. But that goes back to Julius Caesar when he said, war is easy. All you got to do is pound the drums of war, and everyone. He was saying, give them a show, and you can have any war you want. That's another 2,000 years ago.
I have to play devil's advocate here. This is one of the rare times you'll hear me defending George W. Bush, politics or not. Not a big fan of him. But, okay, so George, let's say you're president, your country gets attacked. Every single person in the entire country, and the better part of the world, as a matter of fact, is looking to you on what to do. Biggest country in the world, massive terrorist attack, loss of life, we're wiping out skylines. What do? You say, well, we're going to investigate this and think about it. That immediately makes the U.S. look super weak. International relationships get strained. Other countries are looking to, pick up the pieces. Very, very bad. You have to put on that strong front. You have to put on that big leadership thing and say, whoever did this, your ass kicking is coming.
I disagree.
Well, I'm not saying to do the thing, but on day one, you have to have that very strong public face. But
I disagree with that. That's what I'm saying. I disagree with it.
Okay, so tell me what the alternative would be, and then what would happen, because I think the strong public face was the good idea at that point.
It's like you said a moment ago. When emotions are stirred, you get big groups of people that are angry, and especially in a country like the United States, where there's 350 million now, or 300 million. I don't know.
It's getting close.
It's getting up there. It's really growing fast. But you get that many people that are hurt, confused, and then angry. I think that is the best thing you can do, is we acknowledge what has happened to us. I think a strong leader, a leader that this country really needs, is going to be the guy who's brave enough to say, but I'm going to take a minute. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be back. I don't need a play-by-play. I don't. And this idea that everyone in the country needs a play-by-play is bullshit. Is total bullshit. That's why we elect a leader. I don't want to be privy to every goddamn detail. I don't have time. I'd like to be able to just trust that you're doing the right thing. And what I saw happen after the 9/11 attacks and then the escalation in Iraq was deplorable.
Okay,
and now,
that I agree with.
Now even Republican pundits it's just universally accepted. Yeah, we made a mistake in Iraq. you see Bill O'Reilly saying that now, and now you see him saying the same fucking thing about gay marriage, and it's bullshit. It's and I
They have to
respect
change
Bill
to
O'Reilly.
adapt. That was actually one of the things that the subscribers wanted us to talk about was the two-party system, or like the two-party oligopoly that we have on American politics here in the country. I'm of the opinion that it's very detrimental, and that the political parties are kind of there for their own survival. The Republican or the conservative party is always going to be the party of no. That's the function of a conservative thing. They believe that whatever is working now is great, or however it was before the last change was even better, and that's how we should.
Not the original Republican
Well,
ideals.
that's the modern.
That's why like Ron Paul exists, who's saying he's the. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, but then but this is kind of like a generality. But then you always have the Liberal Party, which is they normally don't have like a solid rallying point. It's like a collection of everybody else that wants change, that says whatever we have now, totally not working, we want to do this, and it's a kind of counterbalance, because if you gave everything to the Liberal Party and let them change things would change so fast, and there'd be so many implementations and so many ridiculously bad ideas that it would be a nightmare. So you kind of have
I tend to think that the Republican Party is capable of the same.
Either one of these two.
Republican Party are much. The Republican Party, the illusion there is, it's not an illusion. They know how to mobilize. They know how to organize. They are efficient. I respect the Republican Party. I respect that, because that is hard to do that. But then look at what happened when the Tea Partiers came around. The Republican Party was in total disarray by the time Obama was up for re-election, and he wasn't the best president ever, and he still got re-elected. Because the Republican right lost their focus. They showed the same kind of disarray and scattered thinking that liberals have been showing for a long time. But if you go back to Bill Clinton, that was actually a very solid time for liberals in the United States, because
Bill was a man with a plan. Bill knew he had his situation under control.
But he was not without, his administration was not without catastrophic blunders as well.
No.
Waco, Texas is a good example, but that was Janet Reno. But then also the Secretary of Education at the time during Clinton advocated for not teaching children about masturbation in grade schools, which I think is so wrong. Why would you not? Why would you
maybe
not
grade school
acknowledge?
is a bit of an early start on that.
I disagree.
Grade school is a good time to start with masturbation.
Everyone masturbates.